Most of you know our next special guest speaker, but I want to tell a little personal story myself. Debra Engelhardt-Nash may not know this, but I was a Debra Engelhardt-Nash stalker way back in the day. And I heard Debra the very first time at a lecture in Kansas City, and she came out bigger than life like she is today. That energy has not changed in over 20 years. So I've known you, Debra, for more than 20 years, although we became fast friends probably about 14 years ago when I joined ADPA. I know she has an incredible story, and I cannot wait for her to share it with you. And to no further avail, please help me give a warm welcome to Debra Engelhardt-Nash.
Good morning, everyone. What a great honor to be here. When I'm at home, and I say to my family, this reminds me of a movie, they know I want to make a point. They look at each other, they roll their eyes, and then they placate me with half-hearing ears. When I was asked to speak to you about surviving and thriving, it reminded me of two movies. So I'm going to give you a chance to roll your eyes. Rocky, starring Sylvester Stallone and Talia Shire. The story of a struggling boxer. He meets Adrian, a shy pet shop owner. And on their first date, he tells her, my dad told me that I didn't have much of a brain, so I'd better develop my body. And Adrian laughs, and she says, my mother told me the exact opposite thing. My mother told me that I didn't have much of a body, and I'd better develop my brain. I remember those lines from that 1976 movie because my mother told me a similar thing. My mother said, Debbie, I was much younger then and I had smaller hips. She said, Debbie, people are not going to pick you out of a crowd because of your looks, so you'd better develop your personality. And those were the first words of wisdom that I remembered from my mother. And I branded those words into my heart. And I did just that. And you know what? My mama didn't lie. Because my personality helped me through experiences that I never thought I could endure. My personality helped me with situations that no matter what kind of good looks I have, would not have mattered one iota. My mother taught me other lessons. Always wear clean underwear. Remember that? Always wear clean underwear because you might get hit by a car and you'll have to go to the hospital. Now I ask my daughter if she is wearing underwear. Because there's this thing called commando, and I don't get it. And frankly, the underwear that my daughter wears, I call that a wedgie. I don't know. My mother taught me when we were homeless and living in our car and plugging a toaster oven into the electrical outlet of gas station restrooms to make our dinner, my mother taught me not to expect great food while you're on the road. And when we finally moved into apartments only to be evicted every 3 months because we didn't pay the rent, My mother taught me to travel light, be flexible, and don't get settled. Great survival tactics. And those things my mother taught me, I learned how to leave her when I was 15. I learned how to work with mentors and counselors and coaches. I learned to find people who could teach me, who could work with me, who would believe in me. And as a result, I declared myself a runaway, became a ward of the court, lived in a home for dependent children, became a foster child, and eventually became an emancipated minor. And my mama didn't lie, because it took a lot of personality to stand in court in front of my mother and my father and tell a judge that neither one of them were fit to be my parent. And I think I was wearing clean underwear at the time. Emotional occurrences, significant things that happened, and bam, here I am at the age of 16, hormones raging, puberty bursting, pretty much trying to figure things out on my own, when a dental thing happened to me. I was horse playing with a foster sister, and a chair fell and hit me in the face, and it broke my front tooth. I didn't have a regular dentist, so I called the local dentist down the street. Imagine that call. A juvenile delinquent, broken tooth, welfare. Great patient, right? When I got there, he said, you know, because of your age and because of welfare limitations, I really can't do anything but smooth the rough edges so it doesn't hurt your tongue. And I said, wait. If you let me make payments, would you do something that I could pay for myself? And he gave me a processed acrylic crown. And he told me that when I became 20 or so, I would have to replace that processed acrylic crown with a porcelain jacket. I wore that temporary until I was in my 30s. And when it was finally replaced, the dentist said, wow, what a great blend of color. What a great fit. And man, it has really lasted a long time. A restored tooth, a survival tool for me. I am convinced that had I not restored that tooth, I would not be who I am, where I am, or what I am. And isn't it lucky that those of us who choose to work in the dental profession, that we get to work with people who can make a difference in the lives of the patients that they touch? And isn't it lucky that we can make a difference to those who make a difference so they can do it better? Significant emotional occurrences. Beaver dams, Chuck Blakeman calls them. Beaver dams that make us change who we are, what we do. Beaver dams that help us refocus our purpose, that help us change our resolve, that help us strengthen our faiths and renew our spirit. My mother taught me never to wait for the perfect moment. I was 37, and my mother said, when are you going to have children? I said, I'm waiting for the perfect time. And she said, Debbie, if you wait for the perfect moment, you're going to be waiting all your life. And you know what? Mama was right. She didn't lie. Because if I had waited, that wonderfulness of my life, my daughter Sophie, may never have happened. If I had waited for the perfect moment to end something that should have ended, I may never have been able to begin the perfect marriage that I have now. There is no such thing as the perfect moment to begin that what you want to do. You just begin, and the rest will follow. Just as there is no such thing as waiting for the perfect moment to end that what should be ended. And it's always the perfect moment to start being happy. In 2011, my husband and I had to make a difficult decision. It was heart-wrenching. We had a business that was failing. We agonized. It was draining our resources, our financial resources. It was absolutely defeating our spirit. We had to put an end to this. It was the most devastating thing that had ever happened to us. Or so we thought. That was February. In April, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor. I had to have surgery. I had to go through rehabilitation and subsequent radiation treatment. My husband was told that I may not gain the use of my right side again, and that I might have to walk, if I could, with a cane or a walker. And you know what happened? Everything shifted. All that stuff, all that business stuff, all that money stuff, all that stuff that we were agonizing over, that we were losing sleep over, it didn't matter that fast. We realigned. We shifted. As a result, we closed that business. And I recovered. Some of you might debate that. But you know what we did? We became stronger. We restructured. We changed the way we were doing our business. We changed the way that we thought about our business. We planned differently. We actually put vacations into the mix of our business plan and time to be together and enjoy each other, because we realized that it could go away that fast. They say that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I'm convinced that what doesn't kill you makes you better. I think that bankruptcy and my brain tumor were the best things that ever happened to me, to us, to our business, and to our lives. Steve Jobs said something that I want to read to you because I want to respect his words. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. And like any great relationship, it just gets better as the years roll on. So keep looking until you find it. Don't settle. I do what I love, and I'm grateful for that every day. I'm in a profession where my personality matters. Mama didn't lie. Of course, good looks wouldn't hurt. The second movie, Fanny Brice, Funny Girl, starring Barbra Streisand, tells the story of Fanny Brice and Nicky Arnstein. Nicky gets sent to jail for racketeering. He tells Fanny that they should get a divorce, and Fanny says, let's wait until you get home. After 18 months, Nick comes to visit Fanny, and she says, you know, I've had 18 months to think about it, and I haven't thought about it at all. Oh, yes, I've simmered, and I've stewed, and I've cried my eyes out, but I haven't really thought, not until today. And I hadn't really thought about what I was going to say to you at SCN about surviving and thriving, except what I learned here. I learned that it is all about my personality. It is about being authentic. It is about doing what I do well, doing what I love, doing what I know, and it's okay that I am a meandering stream with great intention. I just happen to meander more than most. My story is important. It is important, not because it's my story, but because if I have told it right, that you will recognize that my story is also yours. You have honored me, so honored me by allowing me to be here and allowing me to call you friends. Thank you.